John on the far right.
Yeah, you started with the Tigers, and the Yankees made an effort to get you two. So, what was the trade deadline like, and how do you feel like it worked out for you?
Man, I felt like deja vu a little bit, where it went down to the very end, like just kind of sitting around waiting, trying to figure out what was going to happen. Was hearing from a couple different people about, hey, you couldn't up here, you couldn't up there, and ultimately, like, I really enjoyed my time with Detroit, and what those guys were able to do in the second half and the run that they made, I think surprised a lot of people. I don't really think it surprised me. I sat with AJ afterwards and talked to him about the group that they had there and what they were doing, and you could see it, and it was just about it kind of coming together. So what they were able to do, tough for them today. Scoot has been unbelievable all year, and came down one swing, but I had an unbelievable time there, and then to be here in the situation that we're in is special. So to be here with LA and to come home, there's really no words for it. It was just trade deadline was just a big waiting game to see kind of how everything happens.
So for Jack, we go to Clinton, third row in the middle.
What did you know about Doc before you got here, and what do you think of him now as a manager in terms of everything that's happened, managing the staff and all that, and just in general as a guy, as a skill?
Yeah, I didn't know a whole lot about him, like, as a person. I knew he was intense, and he really cared, and he was just somebody that cared, and he looked out for people. I talked to him a little bit last year when they came to St. Louis, because it was probably going to get moved. There was potential to come here, and we talked for a little bit, but I know that he just appreciated when I came over here. He told me he appreciated just the way that I go out and compete and to kind of keep that same thing, keep that going. So, and then what he's been able to do and the way that hats off to our guys, the way that they threw the ball the rest of that series. Our bullpen was amazing, but you got to give a lot of credit to him as well with the way that guys were brought in and put into situations to succeed and just be put in those right situations. And he's got confidence in everybody that he runs out there. Lineups too. Kike has been unbelievable. So you got to give him a lot of credit. And he shows up and he's ready to work and he cares. When he comes around and watches this throw and is over there, and you can feel his energy and his presence. And he's been a lot of fun to play for.
Jack in the second row on the right.
Yeah, if you had to roughly guess over the last 3 or 4 days, how many times has Kike used an F-bomb with you guys?
I think that's part of. I don't want to say like it's part of sports, but you get locker rooms or a place, and he's fired up on in an interview after the game. It happens, guys. It just comes out sometimes. You're excited and things happen, and that was an emotional series. Like, a lot, emotions were running high and everything. So you gotta let Kike be Kike.
This isn't always a team that in years past has had this kind of edge, especially this time of year. Just what have you made of the persona of this group since you've gotten here, and how much does that kind of stuff matter? You've been on playoff teams before. Like, how much does that matter when you get in these kind of environments and you are facing elimination and being able to respond from that kind of spot?
Yeah, I can't speak on prior teams. I don't necessarily know that it's true that they haven't had any edge, because it's a good amount of the same guys. Obviously, there's a couple guys here that are different, but I think just because the team loses doesn't really mean that they don't have any edge. So I think you're seeing a lot of it. You're seeing it from the guys that come out of the pen, one after the other, and the way that they go out and flip the zone, and same thing with the lineup, one after the other, picking each other up. The way Mookie was able to bounce back after rough first 2 games, but also I don't know if we'd be saying that his second game was rough if that first inning home run ends up not getting robbed. So I think that these guys have shown a lot of fight, and weirdly, not a lot of people believe that we had any chance in that last series, and picking that team, which is again a great team. But I think that stuff goes a bunch of guys, and hoping we keep that same energy, going forward in this next series.
Over here, the far left, and we'll hit Ken in the middle.
Jack, how would you say that starting pitching in the postseason has evolved since you first pitched in the postseason in 2019?
I think it's a little bit of the same. You know, it's been. I think you saw it last night with Darvish, where you ride the hot hand, and if it's always kind of been a quicker hook when you get into the postseason. That's just kind of the way it is. I've seen guys go super deep into games, like Darvish did yesterday, and but I think when you get into those, you get deeper into the series, and you get into those, must-win games. Like those hooks become quicker, just because it's you just don't always have your great stuff every day. So when I look back on some of the starts that I've seen in 2019, the guys that went deep into games, like they all were shoving from the get-go. I look at Fultonevich in 2019 game 2, he shoved, and then I look into that NLCS against Washington on both sides. Anibal shoved, Miles shoved. You look at game 2, Scherzer and Waino both went 7 plus, and then like game 3, I got pulled because we were down 4-0. Obviously, it was different settings where you had to. There was no DH, so I thought my spot was coming up and it hit for me. But I've also seen, throwing deeper in games. So I think it's just a matter of reading guys' stuff, and it's a tough job as a manager to figure out, like how long do I stay with this guy? Do I go to my bullpen? We've got more games in the series, but then once it gets towards the end of the series, it's like, okay, there's no saving guys at that point. It's just, if guys feel good, everybody's going to throw. It's kind of been all hands on deck, and I think you've seen a little bit more all hands on deck this postseason from teams in terms of a lot of bullpen games and a lot of just like, hey, we're going to throw everybody out there, and we're trying to win every game. So it's interesting the way it goes, but like I said, when you guys are rolling, you see them, they stay there longer.
Just a quick follow-up. Does your purpose change to empty the tank earlier? Do you go harder early?
I don't know about empty the tank early, but it's on go from pitch 1, and it pretty much is that way during the regular season. But you might see a little bit more, jumps in velo and stuff when you get into those tight situations. But every pitch matters. Everything's just amplified when you get in the playoffs. So you want to come out and start strong and just keep going from there.
Ken, third.
Jeff, last night before the game, what were you told your availability was, what the plan was for you?
Last night was in case of emergency, and I was told, we win this game, you're going to throw Sunday, but it's in case of emergency. And in those situations, I don't necessarily want to be in the dugout and then try to mentally get in the mode of if things start going south or going a certain way and the trajectory of the game changes, I don't want to have to mentally try to lock in at that point. So I just went down to the pen to try to stay in that mindset, and then continue to check out a little bit as you see Yoshi go out and do what he did, which was incredible, especially against that team. And then the bullpen guys, one after the other, and hats off to Kopech coming in that situation. After Gus has to come out, it's not easy in any situation, and especially in a playoff game in the 8th inning with 2-0. So for me it was be locked in case something happens. Just so it's a lot easier to go from locked in to kind of relaxing a little, as opposed to going from relaxed to like, okay, you know what, now we gotta lock in. It's the 7th, 8th inning, and that doesn't really work for me.
With Adam here in the second row on the left.
I know you got to come to a lot of games here when you were younger. Are there any strongest memories of being in this ballpark? And were there any playoff games mixed in there, early in your minor league time?
I'm trying to think of which games really stick out that I've been to. I know that the game that does stick out happens to be, it was 2015 against the Mets when Chase went into everyone's like, I think I was at both of those games, and watching Syndergaard and DeGrom throw, and those were special arms. And so I remember those playoff games. Those were a lot of fun. You know, I was just getting into pro ball, but came with my little brother who was still, he was like, I'm going to be a Dodgers fan until you happen to make it, and then we can reassess from there. So he's happy that he gets to cheer for these guys, like for the Dodgers again. So yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of other games that I can think on that I've been here for, but those two stick out the most to me.
What if Fabian, fourth row on the right side?
Yeah, Jack, I haven't been down in the bullpen for the last couple of games. What have you maybe learned about that group? Is there appreciation being sort of developed, especially watching Game 4 and how that bullpen game kind of unfolded?
Yeah, I mean, those guys were incredible, and they're together. They're a really cohesive group, and you see the way that they interact out there, and you see them being together. I didn't really want to mess with it. I kind of just stayed off to the side and was in my own like little world, and trying to just watch the game and stay as focused as I felt I needed to. But they're together, and I think that's what you see out of really good bullpens, and they pick up after one another. And you see that in starting rotations too, where one guy goes out and does it, and then the next guy picks up off that. So we're gonna try to ride off of what Yoshi did the last game, and I'm not trying to do too much. And I think there's been an element of maybe trying to do a little too much, and letting emotions get in the way of things, and just trying to go out and play our game and continue to do that.
So you didn't take part in any of the typical bullpen games or anything?
No, I did not. I would talk a little bit here and there, but I kind of wanted to stay and just let them do whatever they want to do, and not try to mess with the vibes on there too much, because they were really good. They were really high, and the guys were rolling, and you just want to keep that going. Especially like getting a break to start the game in Game 4 was incredible, and the guys just picked up after that. It was awesome.
We'll go to John, back to John, right?
Your performance suggests you are completely 100% healthy. There was some suggestion at the deadline of some minor issue. How are you feeling? And any thought on, obviously can't out?
Yeah.
Do about it?
No, yeah, there was that came out. I felt great. We had a little hiccup in the middle of the year there, and the Tiger staff did an amazing job of helping me, of giving me some of the time I needed without having to put me on the IL, and they navigated through, maybe like a 2-week stint there where I was dealing with some things and pitched through some pain, and then but since then I've been great. Whatever reports were the reports, but I've been great. I've been healthy, and nothing has affected my performance. I just think I've been trying to do a little too much, and here I'm going forward, not trying to be perfect, and go out and pitch my game, and let the results happen. But focus on the process and the days in between, and making sure that I'm just mentally locked in and focused, not trying to do too much.
Barry in the front.
Hey Jack, what do you know about the Mets and what's been going on with them? And around Labor Day, they looked like they weren't going anywhere. They've been probably the hottest team in the league in the last 2 months.
Yeah, you get to this point in the season, or you get to this point in the year, everybody that's still playing is a really good team. And so what they've been able to do, especially go in and beat a really good Phillies team, and also beat a really good Brewers team, and just what they've been able to do in the second half with their lineup, their pitching, their bullpen. It's a good group. It's a really good team, and it just makes for a good series. So you're expecting the best, and at this point they've been really good. But that's what baseball's for. That's why we play 162, because you can go through a little cold stretch maybe in the beginning, and then the guys start rolling, and it just it's for them. It hasn't stopped.
So, obviously it's the nature of the playoffs, but how do you abruptly shift from what you were doing against the Padres to now getting involved in a longer series against the Mets?
Just continue to do what we've been doing, which is throwing the ball really well, timely hitting, you know, allow some guys to relax a little bit and just go out and play. I think, you know, there was some tension going on in that series. It was a 5-game series. It was a little tighter and whatnot, and you know, you guys relax a little bit and you know, just go out and play our game and just continue to keep that energy up. You know, after playing an emotional filled series with San Diego, and but to take that and continue to roll with it and yeah, keep rolling into Sunday and on into New York.
All right, thanks, Shaq. We appreciate the time.
Thank you.